my God,
God,
bro. G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe? G.I. Joe! It could have been anything else!
We all got duped. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the biggest fraud.
What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. I don't think that video clip of the G.I. Joe cards will ever get old. I feel like that has a lot of mileage left on it. And you could kind of insert it and use it wherever you want. Today, I have repurposed it for the purposes of all this card porn nonsense. Darren Ravel updated his piece, or put out a new piece, which I have up on the screen here over on the Action Network. And I'm not going to go through this line by line or anything crazy like that. I would highly recommend you go check out the article and read it. But essentially what has happened is kind of what we thought was going to happen. More things are starting to come out now about the Juan Garcia individual who is allegedly card porn. And people are starting to backdoor put pieces together on various different scams and whatnot over the last years, in some cases, even potentially longer. And now they're diving into the other things that he was associated with on the art side. There's all sorts of wild and crazy accusations out there in regards to the old card porn account. And once again, I expect a lot more to come out. Everyone's digging on this now. People are going, anyone that got scammed on anything big associated with this guy or any of the other various, apparently there's more aliases that he used, and maybe Juan Garcia is not even his actual name, who knows. Everyone's digging into everything that had anything to do with anything in Australia, basically. If you shipped or did a deal in Australia and it went sideways, you are probably digging into it. And Australia is not exempt from this. He did business deals in the United States as well, but that's kind of where we sit. That the main part of this article is kind of citing the other various things that have kind of crept up now that his name has hit the public limelight. And like I said, I would encourage you to go check out the full thing here. But, you know, the general tenor, I guess I kind of want to take with this, I'm not really sure where I want to go. The hobby in general had a fast one pulled on by a wolf in sheep's clothing. Basically, he was hiding in plain sight among us as the air quote watchdog of the hobby. Now, not everyone was duped. There were plenty of people there was a very vocal minority that was calling things out, and I shouldn't say calling out, questioning, I guess, as AIH likes to say. I just like to ask questions. But AIH, Dan the Card Man, and a few other guys and girls were actively looking at, asking questions around card porn, saying what's going on here. But a large portion of the hobby bought it hook, line, and sinker. You know, I myself did videos on stories or issues that card porn brought to limelight. I did a video on the LeBron James jersey patch swap thing, and now that's in question on if that even actually is true or not. I know I did videos on other card porn stuff that he brought up in regards to scams and fraud throughout the hobby, but that's how they get you. I mean, that's how they get you. They make it look like they are here to defend the thing that you are an active participant in, and in reality, they're using that as a shield to hide behind while they're doing the dirt. Now, part of this had to be that he was an anonymous account, so it kind of let him run wild on stuff. And I guess maybe that's the real lesson here, is that should have been the first major red flag. And like I said, it was for a lot of people. But a lot of people in the hobby did either blindly follow or kind of fell into the middle, where they agreed with a lot of the stuff that he was calling out, but maybe kind of looked at some of the stuff a little side-eyed. Like, you go after certain companies, or you're always calling out these certain things, but you're not necessarily looking at these things, that sort of stuff. And once again, I am sure there's going to be more dirt and more nonsense and shenanigans that comes out of this whole thing. The question is how do we prevent this from happening again? And I really don't have a great answer for that, to be honest. The hobby really does have a short-term memory, and it is, as we all like to talk about, it is an unregulated market. Now, fraud is obviously a crime. There's things that you could do, but that raised to a certain level where law enforcement and legal actions can be involved. And this obviously has gotten to that. He faked a foundation for a dead guy. There's some identity theft in there, along with a lot of other different things that someone could get him for. You look back over the last few years, and it's like, how many times has a company, a person, a breaker, whatever, done something dumb multiple times in some cases, and we all get mad about it. We make our little videos on it. We talk about it on social media. We chit chat about it at card shows and, you know, all this stuff. And then a day or two later, everyone's still buying into the breaks or doing business with a company or with a person or whatever. And for the most part, people don't really care. They care, but they don't care enough to take action. At least not always. Eventually it reaches a certain point, and then action does get taken. You know, we have seen Whatnot specifically crack down recently on it. It was a Blake Martinez got booted for stealing the Pokemon cards from, or doing shenanigans on stream during breaks with, you know, taking cards off camera and all that sort of stuff. But you know, backyard breaks, or was that Platinum that had the box cutter thing and all that other nonsense? How much stuff have they done that either A, they're still breaking, selling breaks, whatever, people forget. They move on to the next thing. They get fired up and then they move on to the next thing because 4 other different things happen. And they forget about the one from 3 times ago and just move on. And then it pops its ugly head back up again. And we're like, oh yeah, that's right. We don't like that thing or that person or whatever the case might be. And oh, wait, here's another thing over here. This other thing over here. Oh, Top Scrum Sapphire came out. Oh, this thing came out. Oh, I can make 50% on this. And we forget about whatever it was that we were mad about 3-4 weeks ago. And this isn't necessarily sports card / hobby exclusive. This happens in real life all the time. And it really comes back to taking responsibility for your own actions. If you don't like something someone is doing, then act on it. Don't just go with the flow. You know, do whatever it is that you need to do to separate yourself from it, not participate in it, whatever the case might be. And then on the flip side, you know, reevaluate who I don't want to say blindly listen to, but follow. You know, if someone's, myself included, you know, if I do a video on something and it doesn't smell right or whatever, it doesn't pass the smell test, something seems a little off, you know, question that, double check it. I am not the end all be all. None of us are in the content space. As much as we all pretend to be, we are all working off incomplete information to a degree. There are very few people that are actually the ones breaking the individual stories or news or sources or whatever the case might be. In this case, you know, like Darren Ravel's been the point person on it. Yeah, a lot of people ask questions along the way, but Ravel's been the one that opened the books, essentially, and really blow it out there. And he has the credibility to do something like that. He is a legitimate ESPN, or was former ESPN reporter. Say what you will about him. I know a lot. He could be, people either love him or hate him. He's never really bothered me. But he is the one that cracked the code on this one. People ask questions along the way, but he is the one that opened the book. And once again, just like the real world, you know, get your news from multiple different places, follow multiple different things, ask questions on things. If something doesn't check out, do your own homework and then form an opinion on some of this stuff. Because ultimately we are responsible for our own actions on this stuff. So that's all I got for you, boys and girls. Just kind of wanted to touch base on this. I talked about it briefly on the weekly sports card market update, but I was kind of waiting for a little bit more information to come out and kind of see where the dominoes start to fall on this before I did a super in-depth deep dive on it. And even this wasn't more like an in-depth deep dive. If you want to see the bullet points of it, read the article. That's what it's there for. You don't need me to read an article for you. Go to the original source and check that out. I just kind of wanted to give some general overall thoughts on it and kind of where we sit here with it, and who knows what comes next. That is all I have for you, boys and girls. Watch out for those G.I. Joe cards. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.